another beautiful day, 8:30, to be together again, inshallah, with our reflections of this evening. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This session, inshallah, like all of our sessions, inshallah, is intended to help us all to be in a state of receiving nur. I like the continuous tense of receiving nur, not just nur and not receive nur, because I definitely believe it's a continuous state of heart and openness to receive all this nur that we're surrounded with. Inshallah, Sister Yamina, she would walk us through this beautiful, will guide us to open up to be actually in a continuous active state of receiving more. So Bismillah, with this today, inshallah, I would love to ask everyone to be ready to as Sister Yamina is walking us through these lighted paths of the surah. We will be asking you, Sister Yamina, to give us time so that we and the audience can pause and reflect and share those reflections, and share, instead of asking you about homework before we start. The homework was to prepare you for this, this beautiful browsing through these beautiful gardens of the ayat. We would ask you, as Sister Yamina is sharing her reflections, that we would pause and each of us reflect and hopefully share our reflections before we move on. With that said, welcome to Receiving Noor, and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Jazakallah khair, Sister Yamina, for walking us through. Sister Yamina.
Thank you, Alia. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اجعل في قلبي نورا وفي لساني نورا، واجعل في سمعي نورا، واجعل في بصري نورا، واجعل من تحتي نورا، واجعل من فوقي نورا، وعن يميني نورا، وعن يساري نورا، واجعل أمامي نورا، واجعل خلفي نورا، واجعل في نفسي نورا. Ameen. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So we're carrying on with Surah al-Layl, which is the 92nd chapter of the Quran, and it consists of 21 ayat. And we, in the last two meetings, this is our third meetings, we reflected on the first three ayat, actually the four ayat, and now we will start the fifth one. But as usual, we will always connect back to what was shared and lived before that. And as usual, I'd like to remind us what we are doing here. What is the Quran? Remember, we always want to keep in mind at the beginning that the Quran is guidance, divine guidance. It is guiding us to what is most important into our life. And if we stop and look at our needs, we will see that guidance is very, very, a very intense need in our life. It appears in small events here and there, and we say, what shall I do? And if we stop and look at the direction of our life, then we will really realize that we need guidance. So together with guidance, there is light. The Quran is light. When you are walking in darkness, we don't know where we're going, and suddenly it's light, and someone is showing you the way. And everything in creation is an ayah, is a sign showing us the way. It is healing. It is rahmah, compassion. So whenever we keep this in our mind, and whenever we come to a conclusion when we read ayat from the Quran, then we will ask ourselves: is it guiding me to something new? Is it enlightening my life? Is it healing my heart? What is it bringing to me? So as guidance, it is something to be lived, something to be felt, something to be followed. And if you follow guidance, it means we live by it. It means that the guidance is sent to us through the ayat in the Quran, as well as in the creation, in the universe. And it is when we follow the guidance, when we live by it, when we feel it, when we live it, that we start experiencing it, and the meaning will unfold to us. It will unfold into our hearts. And then the connection between the ayat of the Quran and the ayat in the creation, remember ayah 1, 2, 3, are all referring to the creation, become clearer. And the connection between the ayah 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 also become clear. Otherwise, the connection is unclear, and it may even seem like there is no connection even, or as if there is no wholeness. We won't be able to feel the wholeness in the Quran. We won't be able to feel the wholeness in creation, the wholeness in creation in the sense that we are all interconnected human beings as well as with the rest of creation. I cannot be here without breathing air, without drinking water, without. And at the same time, we may not know some people, but if we hear about their grievances, their pain and their suffering, it pains us even if we don't know them. So we are created or interconnected, and we can only become aware and feel the interconnectedness when we give our time that space to stop and reflect. So it's not only information. And so understanding the Quran is not merely a rational exercise. It's not rationally figuring out the meaning of the words, although at the beginning, of course, we need to understand the words. However, it does not end there. That's the beginning, not the end. It needs, the message of the Quran needs to be felt. It needs to be lived in order for it to guide us and heal our hearts and enlighten our world. So if you remember at the very beginning, when we started with Surah Yusuf last year, we talked about the meaning of ayah, especially when we talked about huruf al-muqatta'a. The units of the Quran are ayat. So an ayah is something like a sign. It gives, it points to something else. It signifies something. And a sign has two aspects. There is the signifier. For instance, if it's a physical object, an arrow with it gives the way, it says this is the way to wherever, the name of a town. So the physical sign with the words in it are one aspect of the sign, and what it signifies is another aspect. So we're not concerned with the quality of the sign itself. Is it metal? Is it old? Is it new? What about the writing? It's not a nice writing. It should be another writing. Because what matters when I'm traveling is that it is clearly indicating where I want to go. The other one is secondary. So there are two aspects. The signifier, in this case, in the ayat of the Quran, it's the words. In the ayat in creation, it's the physical being, the event, or the phenomena, like the night, the day, the male and the female, and how they are created. And the second aspect is the signified, which means what is implied through the signifier. What is the meaning? Where is it intended to lead us? And so, for instance, one signifier in this surah is وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى. right? And in an approximate interpretation of these words is, consider the night as it veils, it enshrouds in darkness. Consider the night as it enshrouds in darkness. So these words are the first aspect of the ayah. The meaning of these words, what are they doing? They are talking about something that is going on out there in the world, a phenomena that we call night. So first, if I am going to follow the guidance, immediately what am I going to do? I am going to either go in the night or stop and remember the night. We've been given imagination and memory, alhamdulillah. So we don't even have to wait for it to be the night. But when it's night also, I look at it, and now I am going to practice and follow the guidance of this ayah. It says consider, so I will consider it. So now this is the signifier. The signifier did its work. Now the signified is what is going to be received. That is the message of the Quran. What is going to be received is endless. And so maybe now we can, all of us, stop and ask ourselves, what do these words signify? What does the phenomena of the night and being slowly enshrouded in darkness, that falling, suddenly everything starts getting darker and darker. What do they point to? Now I need to listen here. We don't know, because if we knew, we wouldn't need the guidance of the Quran. If the Quran is, if God is teaching me something in this message, it means it's something that I could not find myself otherwise. Even if it's there, I don't know its meaning. So I need to, I did listen to the Quranic message, to the words. I did understand their meaning. Now I did follow them. I went out, or at least remembered the night and imagined it again. And now I invite all of us to stay there and really, truly consider and reflect on the night as it actually enshrouds in darkness, and listen to the message. That is where the message is going to give. The message is not the words themselves. The words themselves are an ayah, they are a sign, they point to the message. And the message is endless, and the message is going to vary from situation to situation, from person to person. It will vary according to our needs, and all of them will point to one direction. So what do we hear if we stop right now and imagine, or right now I don't even have to imagine, I can just look through the window. It is totally dark, and I could see it getting darker and darker. After Maghrib, it gets dark very quickly. Subhanallah. Consider that. What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I experience? Ask yourself these questions. Stay there with the meaning of this beautiful ayah. One of the things that we shared last time was awe. Some of us felt awe. Subhanallah. What else do we feel?
I feel like with the darkness going slowly, a vastness, like there is like this vast space that is like gradually and slowly being covered, so vast that it's amazing that like it's all gets slowly covered. I also feel
so vastness is more like power, right?
Yes, like this is so vast, subhanallah, like this is that.
It's and also great. One of the names of God is Kabir, Akbar. You feel the vastness is the greatness.
So is this silence? I mean, at the day at the time when it's getting dark, the wind stops.
And so when you feel the silence, what else does it tell you? How does it feel? What is in it? Like there is awe, there is greatness, there is vastness.
Peace? Does silence bring peace to your heart?
If I listen to it, yes. It's
your peace. You see, they are all going back to a quality that goes back to the names of God. So they're all signs to Rububiyyah. They're all signs pointing in the same direction. And we can only listen. I can't know in advance. It's not a rational exercise. I have to listen.
Who wants to share besides me and Andrea?
This is Assalamu alaikum. The first thing that comes to me with the darkness is the day is gone. Like, wal asr innal insana lafi khusr.
So how does it make you feel when you realize that the day is gone?
Not good that one day is gone. We are getting closer to meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, it's not a good feeling.
Opposite of eternal.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but that's what it is. We are facing a time.
So it is a reminder. It is a reminder that this world is fani. It is transient. It is temporary. So it is that sadness that it brings into our heart. The sadness is telling us, like Ibrahim alayhi salam, "La uhibbul afilin." I do not like things that sad. I do not love the transient. And so it makes us realize our need for everlastingness, our need for baqa, for eternity. You feel a longing, like it shouldn't be like this. That sadness is a sign again. It speaks to us. It tells us, I do not like this, so what do I like?
That's daylight, right?
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Who else wants to share? I'm sure everyone has a different feeling. Look, the three of us, each of us has a different feeling. So Asma has shared, Huda and Madeline and Nespa. Do you want to share?
You forgot Shema.
I have one more feeling. Can I share?
Go ahead. You are there. Half.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dominant, al-Qahhar. So, like, we are now subdued, it's that feeling as well. I'm so sorry, I'm telling you all the negative feelings, but that Allah is Qahhar, and at the end of the day, we just ready to go to sleep, get tired, and, that's the state.
Why is this negative? Why do you feel this is a negative feeling?
No. From point of view of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I mean, He's the Al-Qahhar.
From the point of view of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can't speak. We can only speak from our point of view.
So we feel subdued, after all.
So you feel subdued, okay? So is this a negative feeling?
No, it's a sign of weakness. I mean, that human beings have limited, finite energy.
Yes. So what is negative about this? Is it the truth or not? First.
Oh yeah.
So if it is the truth, can't be negative. The truth is what Allah created. The truth is my reality. My reality can't be something negative. It is through that reality that I can know all these beautiful names. It is through my weakness that I understand the vastness and the greatness of my Rabb. You remember the hadith, Faqri, Fakhri. My neediness is my, let's say my neediness, my vulnerability is my asset. What I have, like, this, the only thing I really truly have that is very valuable.
Like Musa alayhi salam said, Rabbi, inni lima anzalta khayran min faqir, something like that, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I am in need, and being in need of what Allah sends to us is something good, because if I were not in need, I would not be aware of it. I would be like a stone. A stone doesn't need, for instance, food, and therefore all kinds of food is not a blessing for the stone, but it is a blessing and a means of rejoicing and a means of praising my Rabb and knowing him as the Mun'im, as the gifter of blessings. Because of that need, our needs, as we said in earlier reflections, is the key. They are the key to the treasure of the divine names. It is through our needs that we get to enjoy the ni'mah, the blessings, and then get to know who the bestower of the blessings is, the giver of the blessings is. So it is very good. This is also very good. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so mashallah, like what I've witnessed here is everyone, like, you know, that each one of us, just like you were saying, Yamina, has a different need that guides the way they perceive. And just like that's why you said, when you listen, each one, you know, the message that we each get varies from person to person, and so it becomes clear, like the message that this ayah, this sign that we're getting from the ayah, different from each one of us, and within that's why we pray for receiving this nur. So I think our first assignment, Yamina, of reflecting, mashallah, was successful. Can you walk us through our next one?
So although they all seem different, they are all different aspects of the same reality. They are all pointing to different qualities of our Rabb. So they all signs pointing in the same direction, alhamdulillah. So in the previous weeks, we saw how we are invited in these ayats when it says, consider the night as it veils in darkness, and consider the day as it rises bright, and consider what creates the male and the female. We are invited to look at what seems to be going on around us. In the beginning, we are still not fully aware of the meaning of what's going on. Remember, this surah is one of the first 10 surahs that were revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, first surahs of the Quran. So these ayats, for instance, in this case, the first 3 ayats, they're guiding us to reflect and realize that something very meaningful, something very essential to our living, to our life, something very profound is going on around us in the world. And in ourselves, because when we talk about the male and the female, this includes us as well. And these ayats of the Quran, they remind us that the creative activity that we see, that we observe, that we witness in the world indicates a source beyond the world, indicates a meaning, beautiful meanings. How do we know that? We listen to our feelings and they are all there. The messages are all there. The peace, the awe, the vastness, the greatness of that we see, that the creation is reflecting, is talking about, is pointing to, indicating, signifying. And we did reflect that time as well on how these activities around us are ayat, they are signs to creativity, to khalaqiyah. God being khaliq and khalaq, He's the creator and He creates, like there is creativity going on all the time as far as we're concerned. And rububiyyah. Rububiyyah is taking care of, and there is tarbiyah, always taking care of, so we go from one state to a much better state. So that's what rububiyyah is about. And we realize that these ayat, the messages that they carry to us, they guide us with lots of compassion, very compassionately, to get to know who our Rabb is through His creation. And we are asked to do it consciously. We're invited to reflect and feel and see and witness how He takes care of us, how He takes care of the creation, of the needs of everything created. So from ayah 1 to 3, they referred us to the creation, to the ayat in creation, the night, the day, and the male and the female. And the meaning and the purpose there, we had concluded that this is all rububiyyah activity that reflects the qualities of our Rabb. In ayah 4, when it says you're striving, inna sa'yakum lashatta, your striving is most surely directed to various ends. It means we don't all have one striving, and also the same person, my striving is not always directed to the same end. So, and this means that because of this, we also, these strivings are going to have very different consequences. And again, very compassionately, yes?
Just before you go to verse 4, I had something, this verse 1 and 2 and 3 that so when I from last time, and you please stop me if I'm completely off track, because this is exactly more on the reasoning side. So last time we said that this night and day, it's also that you understand light only because there's shadow. So, but light is the nature and shadow is to understand light. And the second one, the male and female, we said that kind of is talking about that there's nothing in the world that creates itself. So there's everything is absolutely dependent on that other part to create something, but the meaning absolutely dependent on God. So so my question was now, so what you asked was actually to really just listen to the verse and to not think in that moment. But that doesn't mean that in general we shouldn't really be aware of this kind of interpretation or wisdom, right? It just means today not.
Those interpretations are also the result of listening. However, if I have not gone through the listening myself, for me it remains as information until it's like information about some food that I never tried myself. But if I go and eat it, it becomes not information anymore. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, thank you. Until I need to ponder about it before I get to that.
And actually, what you reminded us about ayah 3 is going to tie up very nicely in what comes later, because when you see that everything is created through pairs, through male and female, and therefore nothing in itself is self-sufficient, it is a sign and a reminder for us that we are not self-sufficient. Because can you imagine if if we had some seeming self-sufficiency, it would be even harder for us to remember how vulnerable and how needy we are. But that neediness has been made so clear, so that it becomes easy to find our Rabb. And we will talk about the significance of finding our Rabb. Like, why should we bother? Why is it important for us to find our Rabb? We'll also reflect on that. So thank you for sharing that, Andrea. So in Ayat 4, we yes, Alias, sure.
Can I mean, I know both of us are very noisy today, I feel. Can I stop you before Ayat 4? Because I really enjoyed the reflection on the first Ayah, al-Layl إذا يغشى, and I was wondering if you're going to give us time to reflect on the other two ayahs as well. Maybe
you were not with us last time. We did that for.
Did that. Yeah. Okay, that's why. Okay, then I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. But it is something that we need to practice all the time for ourselves. So thank you for the reminder, Alia. It's a key practice actually. It's not like I am going to understand the Quran. No, I am only going to understand the words so I figure out what the signifier is, and now I am ready to listen. I will listen. It's going to be, I'm going to be inspired with it. I cannot figure it out just through the words. Otherwise, everyone will just read the words and they will get it. Or the words will be the Quran. And we know that the unbelievers, as they wanted a book, and was it Musa alayhi salam, one of the, we should have maybe a teleconference on that. And so the ayah says, like, it is not the words and the qirtas, the paper and the words. That's not the message. It is what is sent through it is just like the creation itself. The is not the message. It's like the words. When we have an O is a round thing, a W is few sticks. Yes, but what meaning they refer to, they carry, is what matters, not how we write them. And it's not how we call the thing that is important. I can say the word in Arabic, I can say ma'ida or table or masa in different languages. It doesn't matter how I say, what I pronounce, what I write. What matters is that I understand what it's referring to. And so it is with the ayat of the Quran, and therefore the ayat of in the creation. So this ayah says that our strivings are very various in ends. They vary so much. And so in compassion, immediately after, we are told what these what the two poles, the two ends of this spectrum of strivings and directions that we have in life, where they stand. And it's very important because we are going to be told what the consequences are. So we don't live all our lives and at the end we are surprised with something very unsuspected. So from the beginning, we are given all the directions, all the information, not information. If you're going to cook something or what do they give you to follow?
Guidance.
Yeah, maybe directions to follow. So we know which way will end and what will happen there. No surprise, subhanallah. It's just so beautiful, so clear. So how is this related to the first previous ayat? So in the first previous ayat, it's talking about something going on in the creation, in our own creation as well, in the creation of the world. Our response to this awesome activity in the world can be either awe and therefore gratitude, or heedlessness, like I'm mindless, like I'm very busy with other things. What is it? So what if it's day and night? It's always day and night. We know that 24 hours if you live in this part of the world, and that's it. And we take it for granted. So it's either I stop and I realize that, yes, something very different is going on here. Something very purposeful is going on here. It's not like happening haphazardly. And I'm at awe and I'm so grateful because what's happening is happening with purpose and has very, very crucial results pertaining to our lives. It's a matter of life and death, what's going on in the world. And so I am very grateful. And sometimes I'm completely heedless. I forget about it and I take it for granted. I gave it a name. This is night, this is day, this is male, this is female, and never ask myself about its meaning or its purpose. And
is
so
that correct?
Yes.
So it kind of it talks about the freedom of the choice, but it's in a kind of continuous form. Is it that? So it's not just that I at this moment choose the right or the wrong, choose being aware of God, but it's more like striving. So it's made in a I not do it just this moment, but I kind of make it a life pattern. Yeah, I mean, I'm asking, is my understanding correct?
I mean, usually don't we strive? If you have, for instance, a career, don't you strive? You work hard, you go, you plan, So,
yes.
And so we all strive, but are we striving for what matters or not? That's another issue. People usually strive for something. However, to what end are we striving when I'm doing all that? What is my purpose? Am I aware of my purpose, or I just got a temporary purpose? It could be anything, finishing school, getting this post, I'm looking after my child, waiting for him to go to school, and I will be, the child will start school and I will have more free time. It doesn't mean something is wrong with that purpose, but if that's the ultimate purpose and it doesn't have another meaning, it doesn't have a meaning within a greater purpose, the purpose of my being here in the world, then it becomes meaningless. Yes?
It becomes like, it doesn't seem meaningless when we're going through it, but when any of this stops, then everything becomes meaningless. So when it's all about the child coming and go back from school, when something happens to that child, or I lose him, or he goes away, or something happens, then everything else becomes meaningless. When it's like, so when you lose the thing that you were tying your world around, when it's lost, everything becomes meaningless. While if the scenario is different, then everything is always meaningful, even that loss.
Or even that your child is growing, is at home, a toddler, you want him to be to grow or something, but you are not lost into that. Doesn't become your purpose. You don't strive for it. Doesn't become your purpose in life, because it's itself an area within that points to the true purpose of life. And the true purpose of life, as you said, can't be something that ends with the thing itself. It is something that looks to the hereafter. That's something that looks to eternity. That's something that transcends transience and impermanence. So it needs to be some permanent purpose. And so the other ones can't be purposes. They were supposed to be ayat leading to the purpose, not obstacles to the purpose, not screening it, veiling the purpose, if you see what I mean. So there are two, in that spectrum, whatever we do, there are two ends. The two ends is either I feel awe and therefore gratitude when I'm reminded of the ayat in creation, or I forget about it, I am mindless and heedless, and I take things for granted. So, and the consequences we are being told will differ accordingly as we can guess. So first, we're given the good news of the first attitude in Ayah 5. The first attitude is when I feel awe and gratitude and take the message of the first three ayahs seriously. When I take them seriously, then it's going to take me to ayah 5, which says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ آتَى وَاتَّقَى, as to the one who gives and is mindful. So who is the one who gives while being mindful?
This is first of all, because I like this verse a lot. So this to give comes in Quran always together with something like this. So the believer is the one who believes and do good deeds, and here gives and is mindful. And this emphasizes so much that when you give, you only give from is given to you. You can only, if you give in your own name, it's wasted. But if you give in the name of the sustainer, then you feel that you are given. So you are grateful that you have something to share, and that makes all the difference of the world. You don't worry, and you don't worry that you will not be able to finish to be successful when you strive for your goal, because you realize you don't have to. You are given. Everyone is given.
Yes, true. That's very true. Alia?
Yeah, I just thought, I like, by the way you said it, Andrea, I like the Quranic pairs. I wrote it down, Quran pairs, give and be mindful, given. I like that. But I just thought of what you said, like the purpose. Like if the purpose is temporary, like if the purpose is temporary, then giving is going to be very difficult because it takes away. But if the purpose is like eternal, then giving is bringing you closer. So I think that bigger picture of having like the eternal focus is that mindfulness, and that's why mindfulness becomes important with giving, because if I'm minded of my eternal purpose of my existence, then giving becomes something that meets that eternal purpose. But if I'm mindful only of my temporary purpose of being, which is eating and having enough food and enough money, then this won't be, I won't be able to do it, or even if I do it, I'll be doing it for the wrong purpose.
That's true. Thank you. So inshallah, it's getting clearer how giving while being mindful are very much interconnected, and how it's so important here. So the one who feels awe before the signs of creation, before the night as it is enshrouded in darkness, and the day, and the creation of the male and the female. When we feel awe before these signs of creation, we are led to humility. We start realizing our own position in the creation, which is that we are needy, that we are vulnerable, that everything is given to us. And so the result is compassion. Compassion towards the weak, towards the needy, and actually compassion towards all of creation, because we can empathize with the rest of creation. We become, our neediness becomes a unit of measurement for the rest of the creation. Everything is like me. We see the world in our own mirror. And so we can recognize in their neediness and weakness, we recognize our own neediness and weakness, and we are okay with it. Not only okay with it, not only we recognize it, but we accept it as the gift. It is the greatest gift that we were given as human beings. It is through that gift that we were taught al-Asma al-Husna, the divine attributes of the Creator. If I did not have a need to know, I would not. If I didn't have curiosity, I wouldn't have any knowledge, and I wouldn't know what knowing is, and I wouldn't realize that someone, whoever is creating everything, is creating knowingly. If we didn't have a need for food, we would not appreciate food as something valuable, and therefore we wouldn't recognize the bestower of the food as generous and compassionate and loving and caring.
Sister Yamina, one more point I wanted to make, that we also can think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so much, and by the end of the day, and we are grateful, so we should also share that with others. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is good to us, so we should be good to the others.
That is true. However, the should there makes my heart cringe a little bit. I'll share with you why. Because should feels like, oh, like I don't really want to, but now I should. And I tell you why. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's because there is a shortcut there. There is a step missing that makes us get stuck into the should. So there are two, what you said at the beginning, very important. We are given the blessings, right?
I was just quoting that verse.
Oh, yes, I know what you said. I agree with it. I'm just saying that there is something to add so that we don't feel like we should, but we do it easily. This is who we become. And that's because in the first step, it seems to us, and it is true. However, this is the outer aspect, and there is an inner aspect to it. Is that, for instance, let's say the food is sitting there on the table, beautiful fruit sitting there. It is a ni'mah, it is a blessing, right? And it is given to me. Neither the earth nor the tree nor anything can create it. And the whole universe is needed for that fruit to exist and be sitting there in front of me. So I understand that is not, it is a gift that is so valuable because it is the fruit of the whole universe. Someone who can control everything only can make that. Okay, so I am in that state of Subhanallah, Barakallah. Now, if I stay here, it will seem to me that the gift is out there and I'm here, and so it takes a little effort to be grateful for it, because I'm still not totally aware in my neediness for the gift. When I become more في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم, it says سنريهم الآيات, we will show them the signs in the afaq, the fruit out there, and therefore in themselves. So the ayah in myself, unless I see the ayah in myself as well, the circle is not going to be completed, and there will be something like the electricity, the nur, won't be able to go around because there is something still missing, which is the ayat in the anfus, inside. And the ayah inside is that I realize my need for the fruit, my need for the blessing, and it is through that need that fruit out there is a blessing. It is not a blessing for a piece of stone. but it is a blessing for me. Why? Because I have a need for it. So when I become in touch, aware of my need, then that blessing out there, that food out there, becomes something that I relate to organically. It's not like a blessing out there, he gives us blessing. No, he is feeding me. He is healing me. This is like Ibrahim alayhi salam. So when I see him as the one who is feeding me and healing me, and so giving, he is the one who is giving me. So giving to others becomes easy. Why? How, like, why? Oh, of course, what you said, I all agree. Esma, Andrea also said it. When we're grateful and we appreciate what is given to us, then it becomes easy to be generous and give and share. How? Because when we are aware that the blessings are gifts to us through our own need for them, then it is clear, we are completely sure, we know, we have iman, we have yaqeen that they are not ours, nothing is ours. Even if I worked for it, even if I think people think I earned it, I am aware that I did not earn it. I prayed for it and it was given to me. Then it becomes easy to acknowledge the giving in everything, and it becomes easy to reflect it back onto the world. Because as we confirm the abundance of the ni'mah, because everything is ni'mah now, through my need I understand that everything is ni'mah, is a blessing, is a gift, then as you shared before, we have no fear of scarcity, no fear of what will happen to me tomorrow, because it's not only the thing sitting there, do I have one fruit or 10 of them? No, it's not about that. It's about my need and my need being taken care of. It's a more dynamic, conscious perception of the world, of myself, therefore the world, therefore my Rabb. Yeah. And so it becomes easier for us to share the gifts with others, because as I'm sharing, I am confirming again that yes, you are the giver. Actually, there are ayats in the Quran that explain this, but it doesn't come to my mind right now. Astaghfirullah.
You know, the reason I've mentioned this, because recently I was studying Surah Qasas, in which Qarun was showing off his wealth.
Yes.
You know, the smart ones, they said, but keep with the wealth which Allah has bestowed on thee, the home of the hereafter. Not forget thy portion in this world, but do thou good as Allah has been good to thee. And seek not mischief in the land, for Allah doesn't love those who do. So this I just...
Yes, I'm saying, when we understand it in a more inner conscious way, conscious of our needs and how our needs are being taken care of with those gifts, then what you said, say it the same way, but no should. It becomes so easy. When what does it say? Which ayah is it here? فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. Anyway, 6 or 7. 6 or 7. 6. Yeah, 7. فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. That becomes, al-yusra becomes very easy. We will be made easy. It will be made easy for us. Or we will be eased into it, actually. Subhanallah, isn't that? So I won't feel like I should do it. It becomes my pleasure. Not only my pleasure, it becomes who I am, what I do. I share. Why? Because I witness that. I witness the abundance of the ni'mah.
Yes, 100%. I mean, that should is kind of an indicator for that something is wrong and exactly because what you said, your heart is cringing or something like this.
Yeah.
The giving, so the verse that says that, what was it? Thus for him who gives and is mindful. It's so why is it so great to give? Because by this I am closer to the name of God. I feel the giver. I participate in the giver.
Yes.
And there's nothing to be should. I mean, that's just a pleasure.
Yes. Does it, Esma, does it open up something? Can you say?
No.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason I quoted was because I thought that this was the rationalization those people were explaining. The smart ones, the others were impressed by his wealth, and then Harun obviously didn't listen to those guys. But while I was looking for this ayah 76, I found another good one, 73, which says, "It is out of his mercy that he has made for you night and day, that you may rest therein and that you may seek his grace, in order that you may be grateful."
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, that's the bottom line.
Yes. So in being grateful, there are degrees, right?
Yes,
so there is being grateful for the gift out there, and there is being grateful, being even more conscious that that thing out there, there is no thing out there. There is something always in relation to me and my need.
Right.
Yeah. So Alhamdulillah.
Yamina, I raised
Yes.
my hand.
Yes.
So
please.
as Andrea was sharing, like there is a happiness in being part of the giving, and it just as she was saying that, Andrea, it came to my mind right away in Eid. Like in Eid here, we have like moms make a basket of like candies, and then we give like the younger kids the baskets to give out, and the kids love more than anything just giving out the candy, like not as much taking it but giving it out. Like they really really are grateful that they have shared in giving things out. So it is like it's interesting, and some of these kids are the kids of the mother who has bought the candy. So you would think like that kid would want all of the candy for herself, or be very upset that she's giving it out. But on the contrary, like they're very happy. Like there's like this, you taste it, like so. It's just a beautiful image, like to remember how we enjoy giving out, because we are closer to the giver that way.
And this is why this is important, because otherwise we will not be able to connect or between the ayat of the Quran when it says فَأَمَّا مَنْ آتَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى. So as for him who gives while being mindful, and therefore confirms al-husna. How do we confirm al-husna? Like normally people will tell you and as if these things have nothing to do in common. You have to be first give, and then you have to be conscious, and then you have to confirm the husna. As if, where do I confirm al-husna now? As if it has nothing to do with all the ayat that came before. But now, can you see, when I participate, as Andrea articulated it, in the giving, but consciously, mindfully, then as we give and share, we also witness the giver of the gifts, al-mun'im, for instance. So I am aware that I am not the one giving. I am not the giver. He makes me give. The gifts are his, but not only the gifts are his. The compassion is his. The need in me to help is also given to me. So everything is his. So I say, La mun'ima illallah. There is no bestower of gifts except Allah. La mu'tiya, there is no giver except him. La mu'ina, there is illallah. There is no helper except him. So As I am helping, as I am giving, I confirm that He alone is the giver. I confirm and witness that I don't know even where I got the compassion and the need to give to someone I never seen before. Subhanallah, it becomes like not only knowing, not only seeing in the creation, but as I give, I confirm bi haqq al-yaqeen, at the level of certainty, of a living certainty, that truly I know that He alone is the giver, because wallahi billahi, when I was giving, I only had the need to give. I was not the giver. I was made. I needed to give. I only have the needs. And the needs are the key to the divine names, the key to Al-Husna. And so I can confirm Al-Husna. And so I'm giving in His name. I'm helping in His name. Bismillah. Bismil Mun'an. Bismil Mu'in. And so when we are doing this, when I give while being conscious, mindful, I will be made to confirm the husna. It's not like, oh my God, how do I confirm al-husna now? Because usually they are read as if completely unrelated ayat. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and most of them are unrelated to each other. Each one is a unit on its own, yes, but if they are coming one after the other, it's also for a reason. That's also an ayah. And so confirming al-husna can be summarized as la ilaha illallah. It can be also summarized as the al-asma al-husna, the beautiful names, because they belong only to God. And that's when I give in His name, when I give consciously, then I am able to, or I'm made to confirm al-husna. And as before, it was shared that it is possible to give, of course, and if it's not in the name of God, then it will be only increasing my ego, saying that I am a good person, I give, and I will never be able to, if I do it mindlessly, I will never be able to confirm al-husna, although I am giving, but I imagine that I am the one giving. Astaghfirullah. Also, it doesn't say us giving what? It's not mentioned. Ma a'ta, it says. And it's left open, mutlaq in Arabic you would say, because it's leaving it to the imagination to fill in what is to be given. All that comes to mind, all that is worth giving, from material, physical goods to help, to kindness, to wise words, to everything. All of us everyone will have something to give. And the second one is giving while being mindful. This is very important because, as I said before, if it's given mindlessly, and if I imagine that I am the giver, so instead of confirming al-husna, I will only confirm my delusion about myself, and I will never find the true giver. I will never be able to witness, to make shahada that there is no giver except Him, and that He is the one who makes us give to each other and share with us each other, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the one who enables us to breathe. It's also when we give in the state of mindfulness, when we are aware, what's beautiful there is then we will realize not only who gives and who makes us give, but we will realize who gives us everything. We will start realizing, Rabbul Alameen, who is Rabbul Alameen? Like He's the one who enables us to breathe, who sustains our life, who is taking care of everything. Like Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he says, إلا رب العالمين الذي خلقني فهو يهدين والذي هو يطعمني ويسقين وإذا مرضت فهو يشفين والذي يميتني ثم يحيين والذي أطمع أن يغفر لي خطيئتي يوم الدين. So beautiful. He says, Who is Rabbul Alameen for Ibrahim alayhi salam? The one who creates me and guides me. And he is the one who feeds me and yasqeen, waters me, let's say.
When I get sick, he cures me.
And then afterwards, yes, thank you. وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يُشْفِينَ. And if I get sick, he is the one who heals me. وَالَّذِي يُمِيتُنِي ثُمَّ يُحْيِينَ. And he's the one who gives me death, then gives me life. And this can be, yes, my ultimate death, and then inshallah life after death. But also here, each time if we stop breathing, the breathing in and out is a kind of also death and life, or the death of the child and the birth, the life of the teenager, the death of the teenager, the life of the younger adults, and etc. وَالَّذِي أَطْمَعُ. And the one, he's the one who I hope will forgive me my faults يوم الدين, on the day of judgment, inshallah. Ameen.
Dr. Yamina, I wanted to share a point. Somebody told me, it's not my reflection, but it's beautiful, that it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's giving us all these gifts and blessings. And then when we give, we are giving the stuff that He gave us, and then He rewards us, for giving the stuff that He has given us.
Yes.
All the source of goodness is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes. Subhanallah. That's what the ayah says. إِنَّ اللَّهَ اشْتَرَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ وَأَنفُسَهُمْ أَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ بِأَنَّ لَهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ. Sorry.
And this is here that what connects to the beginning when you said the meaning and the healing of an ayah will unfold when we live by the guidance of it. So when we give ourselves the time to stop and reflect on it.
Yes, yes, yes. Isn't that beautiful, Esma? That we give what He gives us, and on the top of that we are. And immediately we are rewarded. We feel why we are rewarded when we taste the divine name. The divine name giver is very sweet. That's why the child, they enjoy giving when you give them the candies, as Alia was saying. So itself is rewarding because itself is so, it tastes nice. But if I think it's from me, then I miss. It's very short-lived, very temporary, and I do not find that source that I can rely on, because when I know that He, my Rabb, is the giver and not me, then there is a great relief for the human heart, because if I'm the giver, I know deep down that I can give today, I won't be able to give tomorrow, I won't be here all the time. Who will give me when I'm in need? We know our inherent weakness and neediness, but when I realize that it is Rabbul Alameen, the one who has all the creation in His control, who administers and takes care of everybody's and everything's need, then there is a great relief and joy and peace. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. The heart finds peace and tranquility, because now there is no need to worry. Everything is fine. Everything is being taken care of, alhamdulillah. Because otherwise, like we are told in Surah Al-An'am, it says, إِنْ أَخَذَ اللَّهُ سَمْعَكُمْ وَأَبْصَارَكُمْ وَخَتَمَ عَلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ مَنْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرُ اللَّهُ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِهِ. It says, have you not seen if God would take away your hearing and your sight and seal your hearts? What God, what deity, apart from the one God? Allah is different from ilah. In English it becomes both of them are God. But what God, but the one, the only one God is there that could bring it back to you? What is it that can bring back to me my hearing if I lose it, my seeing if I lose it? Subhanallah. But then it says, انظر كيف نصرف الآيات ثم هم يصدفون. Look how we make the ayat, the signs, very clear, and yet they turn away in disdain. Astaghfirullah. May Allah make us for those who take the ayat seriously and follow the guidance, inshallah. So it's clear how when we are in this state of awe and gratitude before the creation, it becomes easy to give in the name of God when we do it consciously. And in that act, we confirm and we witness al-Husna. And the other one will be, and of course, this is going to be made easier and easier. It says, فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. It's going to be not only easier, it's going to be tastier, sweeter and sweeter. It's going to be, if we persist in that way of living, then it becomes our way of life. Giving in the name of God and confirming al-Husna will inshallah be our way of living. I think it will be easier now to see how the meaning of the opposite will come, وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى, because it's easier to see their meaning in contrast with what we've talked about. Inshallah, we'll do that, reflect on that next time. What I want to remind ourselves again is that often when we read the Quran, the ayat may seem to be unrelated. This is when we read the first time, it's always going to be like that anyways. When you read, consider the night as it veils in darkness, consider the day as it rises bright, consider the creation of the male and the female, suddenly, okay, verily, you aim at most divergent, you strive at very different ends, and then as for him who gives and while he is mindful, he will confirm the husna, the best. Subhanallah, when you first read it, you understand the words very well, but it seems as though the ayat, they, astaghfirullah, like they why does it feel like that? And we all go through this. Either this is how it stays all the time, or at least in the beginning, because we read the text as a text and then we plug in the answers. The answers are correct. We're plugging them in without finding out how they actually derived from the text itself. We do not get them from the text itself. The text itself, we do not follow its guidance so that it takes us to the meaning. No, we read the text, it reminds us of some words in other ayats, and we take the meanings and plugs them in. It's correct, but I haven't done the work yet, and so the ayat remains still unconnected. It's like a math students. Let's say a math student who learned the answer to each question. So he comes in class, and whenever he sees a question, he immediately writes the answer. No demonstration, without understanding how you can arrive to that answer. His answers are all correct. What grade do you give the students? Andrea, you're the mathematician. What grade will you give the students?
Annoying, so annoying.
Annoying, but
what will the grade be? You call the students, like, did you copy this? Can you please show me?
Yes.
And you say, can you please show me how you got this? He doesn't know. He says, this goes with this goes with this. I taught maths as well. I would give 0 as grade. Because this student has not learned any maths. He's just plugging in answers to the questions. They are correct, but that's not what you were supposed to find it yourself. You didn't do the work. And it reminded me of Alia, can you share with us the story of the fisherman?
Yeah, so in Egypt, there's like one of the, like Joha funny stories. And this story is like everyone, was fishing, and everyone was getting like real big sized fish. So this gentleman, Joha style gentleman, did not know how to fish. So he wanted to brag about, like, he's getting the fish and he's, he's doing all the right work that is needed. So he does not even look at it, goes to, a fisherman, a fish shop, and asks them, for 2 pounds or like, 2 kilos of fish, and does not look, and he gives them like the fishing basket. They put they said in this, and he said, yes, of course, where do you think? So they put it in there. He goes home and he like shows, like, showing his good work, and then his wife opens up this bag, and she finds like all broiled fish put in with tahini and all the stuff. so again,
they understood that he did not fish it.
Yeah. I mean, it was good thing, but he did not fish it. He did not do the work.
Someone else fished it.
Someone fished, yeah.
Like صدق بالحسنى, you say, what is the husna? So you see discussions, and some people saying al-husna is, for instance, la ilaha illallah, al-husna is this and that. Ya akhi, of course, la ilaha illallah is husna. Can you just tell me how you got it from here? Like within the context of this ayah. And when we get it from the context of this ayah, of course it is going to confirm and support the meaning of the other ayats, and a new meaning of La ilaha illallah is going to unfold. So the answer may be correct, but if it did not come from here directly, then the ayah seems it seems like someone decided that husna is La ilaha illallah, someone decided something else. It becomes like, how do you say, up to me, like there is no guidance. It's like we're guessing the words. It's not a guessing work, it is a guidance work. And then even if you come to the conclusion that it's la ilaha illallah, it has to come through it, like there is no giver but him. It is part of la ilaha illallah. Then la ilaha illallah now gained a new meaning for me. Then the Quran becomes يُفَسِّرُ بَعْضَهُ بَعْض. It explains and clarifies each other. It's not tautological. It's not like each time I use something else to explain the other parts, but never getting the explanation of any words. So we find ourselves repeating the same words without knowing what each one of them means. It becomes like we're not doing maths if we're just plugging in the correct answers to the answers, even if they are correct. Actually, when they are correct, it becomes even more confusing, because they're correct, as Amriyah said. What can you do now? They're correct, but at the same time, there is no demonstration. Where is it coming from? It's not organic. It's not coming from there. I never felt them in my heart. And this is very important, because the Quran was sent to the Prophet ﷺ's heart. فَإِنَّهُ نَزَّلَهُ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ. And so we also need to receive its message, its guidance, and its healing through our hearts. It says God says that He has brought down the message to your heart, speaking to the Prophet ﷺ. And the heart is also the seat of understanding. Sound understanding is also goes through the heart. If the heart is not part of the loop, then something is missing. It remains as information. The information can be totally correct, but it's not going to be digested. It's not going to enlighten, to be nur, to be light, to be healing to me, except when it goes through my own heart. So it says, أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَتَكُونَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ يَعْقِلُونَ بِهَا أَوْ آذَانٌ يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. So it says, have they not gone around, journeyed on the earth, letting their hearts يعقلون. The word عقل, reason, in the Quran doesn't appear as a noun at all. It's always as a function, as a verb, an action. So don't they have hearts with which they reason and ears with which they hear? So just like the ear hears, the heart reasons. Subhanallah. And we know in Surah Al-Ra'd, we also saw the ayah when it says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنَّ قُلُوبُهُم, those who believe and whose hearts are satisfied بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, in the remembrance of God. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. Truly, only in the remembrance of God, hearts find peace and satisfaction. And Iman is grounded, becomes grounded in the heart. And we know this from Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he asks God to show him how he gives life to the dead. أريني, he says, قال إبراهيم وإذ قال إبراهيم ربي أريني كيف تحيي الموتى قال أولم تؤمن قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. Says, so he asks God, oh my Rabb, show me how you give life to the dead. So Allah says to him, have you not أولم تؤمن, have you not believed? And Ibrahim alayhi salam answers, yes, but ليطمئن قلبي, so that my heart is satisfied, is at rest. Like that Iman is a knowing, it has certainty, I have no doubt. So the heart are satisfied with Iman. We know there are expressions in the Quran, it says, for instance, إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. So the heart finds satisfaction and rest in the remembrance of God with Iman, in belief. When there is that belief, that knowing without doubt, that certainty, that knowing is not just information. It's like, this is it. And there are many indications in the Quran indicating that the heart is the seat of Iman. It's a living knowing, not only information. It's much more than that. Information is actually maybe at the beginning of the process, but it's not the Iman itself. Iman is given anyways. And the message of the Quran is given. It's not there in the words. The words point to it. For instance, it says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, يا أيها الرسول لا يحزنك الذين يسارعون في الكفر من الذين قالوا آمنا بأفواههم ولم تؤمن قلوبهم. O Messenger, do not be grieved by those who compete with one another in denying the truth. Such are who say with their mouths, we believe, while their hearts do not believe. So you see, it's the heart, the belief happens in the heart, is something, and the message of the Quran is sent to the heart. And just as Iman and confirming al-Husna comes into the heart or occurs into the heart, denying also comes from the heart. It says, إلهكم إله واحد فالذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة قلوبهم منكرة وهم مستكبرون. Your God is only one God. And for those who deny the life to come, who deny the Akhirah, their hearts are in denial. قلوبهم منكرة. So the denying is happening where? It's in their hearts. Why? Because they are arrogant. And this reminds us of Ayah 8 when it says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى. Bakhila is the one who is stingy, the one as for the one who is stingy, doesn't give, وَاسْتَغْنَى, and imagines himself to be self-sufficient. So there is this imagining oneself to be self-sufficient, meaning not realizing our neediness is a key to being disconnected from our Rabb. And it makes our heart deny the truth of our creation, who we are. We are in denial of our reality when we are in that state. So it's very, very important that we follow the guidance of these ayat and that we stay with them. If the ayah in the Quran is telling us something about the creation, we go there. We surrender and we go and follow the guidance. And we stay there and we do consider and we wait. So I did consider the darkness. What happened? The message will be sent there. And then you will see how these ayats are all very much interconnected. It's very much interwoven into a beautiful tapestry. And you can see how they are all, in each surah, they are all very interwoven, and each surah with the other surahs before and after and all in the whole Quran are also interconnected and interwoven, just like everything is creation is interconnected. And it becomes just so beautiful. It flows. There is no disconnection, no discontinuity. It's whole, it's complete, it's beautiful, it's teaching. Each word is there for a purpose. Subhanallah. Subhanaka la ilma lana إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. May Allah make us of those who reflect on the Quran and follow its guidance, inshallah.
Ameen, ameen. Jazakallah khair, Yamina. And may Allah guide us to things that He created easy for us, and we make it difficult on ourselves. He created everything with ease for us, and we block that ease by making it intentionally difficult. So may we, inshallah, through awareness, inshallah, enjoy the ease
and guidance
created for us, inshallah. So before we bid everyone good night, would any of us like to share any reflections about the beautiful ayahs that we have just went through?
I'm just really very grateful. I mean, it's very nice this emphasis on the meaning and the healing will unfold if we really stop. So now I feel that God is the giver, and inshallah I can stay with that.
Ameen, inshallah, inshallah. Can you imagine if we have this yaqeen, this certainty that He is the giver of everything good you can think about? Isn't that the nicest gift in the world? That's the nicest gift we can ever have. Alhamdulillah.
And this is what you said at the very beginning. You said that there is a guidance. So when we live by the guidance, then the healing will unfold. Then the meaning will be given. So if we live by the guidance, that means whatever we just did, So if you just give us a time to stay with it, then we will feel, yeah, yes, that's true. And you know what so what is now required of me is to strive to reconsider what is the what is the end that I'm striving for.
Yes,
and if I'm aware of that givenness, then let me be with it and just kind of give it a chance to see how really things are given before I start to take over.
Yeah. And be more conscious about the istiqamah, the direction of our striving. Like the Prophet ﷺ says, "Shayyabatni istaqim kama umirt." You know, follow the direction that you were supposed to follow. That's very important, inshallah.
Is there any homework for next time?
Probably just stay with these ayats from 1 to 10. Especially the last ones, the 8 to 10, which is the opposite. As for him who is stingy and thinks that he is self-sufficient and therefore denies the best, the husna, we will ease him to the hardest. Astaghfirullah, ya Rabbi, it's so scary. We will ease him to the hardest, just like the first one is سَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى, we will ease him to the easiest. This one, سَنُيَسِّرُهُ فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْعُسْرَى. So can you imagine when the hardest things will become our way of life? That's scary. So we better be very careful about how we choose what we strive for from the beginning. And of course, it's made easy because we are guided. We told this before, and so we can look at ourselves. Sometimes you find that you don't want to give. You're being stingy with anything, even with good words or good thoughts about someone or something. Then we have to stop and find out why, what is going on here. That's a sign that it's a red light, you know, it's a sign that you are going into, or you know those signs when it says no. What signs do they have in traffic? Like dead end, dead end.
No entry.
No entry. Yes, thank you. No entry. But we still carry on. Then when we see that, it's okay as long as I recognize it as a sign and act accordingly, inshallah.
Aliyah, will you stop the session?
Aliya's not here. No, Aliya's here.
Oh, I'm talking, but I was talking, but I was muted, so I was talking to myself, it seems. Jazakumullah khair for receiving Noor with us. I think also part of the beginning of the session that Yamina has started with and maybe did not translate, and I'd like to just quickly end the session by translating what Yamina started the session with. It's a dua, Yamina, that my father, I've heard him so many times say it when I was in Mecca, when he would go around the Kaaba.
It's a hadith.
And I loved it in Hajj and in Umrah. I've done more Umrahs than Hajj. And when I read, you know, when you said it, it just brought all these beautiful memories, and I used to imagine it. So this is how Yamina started the session, and inshallah I will end it with it, but with explaining. Allahumma ij'al fi qalbi noora. Oh God, fill my heart, make light, or fill my heart with light. Wa fi lisani noora. And in my tongue, make light come out of my tongue. So what I say is be light. Waj'al fi sam'i noora. And in everything that I hear, make it be filled with light. Waj'al fi basari noora, and in everything I see and in my eyesight, make it full of light. Wa'ij'al min tahti noora, and from beneath me, bring light. Wa'ij'al min fawqi noora, and from above me, bring light. وعن يميني نورا, and on my right side light. وعن يساري نورا, and on my left side light. واجعل أمامي نورا, and in front of me light. واجعل من خلفي نورا, and from behind me light. واجعل في نفسي نورا, and inside of my heart light. وأعظم لي نورا, and in everything have nur. I just love this, and thank you for joining us while we are trying to bring like this guidance, this nur and guidance into what we are hearing, what we are seeing, what we are feeling, and joining each other in doing this. Jazakumullah khair, jazakallah khair, Yamina, and have a beautiful, restful, full of light night, inshallah. Salam.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. جزاكم الله خير. Thank you.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.